first start by saying how happy we are to be here. I mean, in life as well as here. Yeah. And I wanted to just acknowledge that song that we asked Victor to play. It's so beautiful. And you can imagine what line stood out for me. I want to have a family, Joanne. Keep that. No. No, it turns me on to think of growing old. And that's the main reason we selected this, because here we are with 242 years between us. I thought you were 79, so 241, I guess. Yeah. Get with it. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, that is just so apropos. It's the aspiration that John Denver felt when he wrote that song. And unfortunately, he never made it to old age. But we are not just aspiring to it, we're there. And it feels so good in so many ways. And that's what we're going to be sharing, is what brings us our joy, what brings meaning into our life, how we've lived our experience in order to create the wonder of being this age. And it really is. I would say people talk about, when you're over 80, I've been 83 times around the sun now, well, what about decline? And I say, no, it's incline. Why? Well, maybe physically, maybe not quite so much incline, but psychically and energetically and spiritually and emotionally, you name it, all those things are going uphill. And we know that the best is yet to come. Think about people that are approaching 100 now, and they're still around and still doing things, dancing and working out. Dick Van Dyke, he'll be 100 in December 13th. He's still dancing. He works out 3 times a week, and he's happy. He's smiling. He's telling jokes. That's what keeps him around. That's what keeps us around. And so for all you youngsters out there, and there's a few, anybody that's younger than me is a youngster. I know that you also have a yearning to achieve old age with grace, let's say, and to find the meaning. And so we want to try to answer questions about how that's worked for us. Now, I've got both a disclaimer and a guarantee. The disclaimer is that you may not really relate to whatever we say, or you may, I don't know. That's the disclaimer, but the guarantee is, I guarantee to be surprised if you don't. That's a joke. Okay. Thank you. Okay, so why are we doing this? Let's start with you, Charlotte.
I want people to know that you can be an elder and not an old person. It's important, and I've just learned this after all these years. I'm 80 years old, right? And I'm still jumping horses over fences, hello. But I want people to know this is...
He's teasing you.
Behave.
Yeah.
I want people to know that this process that we are going through is everybody's process, not only ours, but it is our parents and our grandparents. And we need to have love, and we need to have patience, and we need to have understanding of the wisdom that comes with being this age. Of course, I always say, thank you. I always say the older I get, the smarter my mother gets, right? Because I've just learned so much. And we need a purpose, and we need a passion in our life. And that's what gotten me to this point and have me so active and happy, is that I know what I want from life now, and I have a better understanding. And unity has been a huge, huge part of that for me.
Well, I kind of talked these guys into doing this. I basically kept thinking, growing old is inevitable, and I don't like that word old, because it's supposed to be a better word, but growing is inevitable. And you don't think about it so much when you're 30, 40, even 50, but all of a sudden you hit like 70 and you go, man, where did that go? What happened? Yeah, and so I think, what we want to reinforce is just the purpose and the passion is what keeps us going. And it keeps all of us going. And it's important that we don't lose that. And it's not that all of a sudden everything becomes some fairy tale. Shit still happens. It's just the way it is. That's life. And people die, your parents die, all kinds of things happen. Whatever your story is, I'm sure everybody in here has one. But I think this isn't about us talking to you. This is about us together as a community saying, what is this thing as we age? Do we want to be saging, not aging? I think that's a great way to put it, and I think we all do. And what can we do to support each other, and what questions are there? Because we do have a few years between us and been around the sun a few times, so we're hoping this is a discussion between everybody here, and everybody wants to chirp in and have something to say about what we're doing.
Awesome. Thank you.
What they said,
Yeah.
except the bad word. Yeah, let's start it off, Elaine. Thank you.
You have a question, Elaine? Okay, coming back with your mic.
About time.
I have a whole list of them, but I won't ask all of them. And I'm 82, so I have some stake in this territory. One of the sayings I heard several years ago.
Can you hold it up a little bit closer?
Can you hear it? Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
One of the sayings I heard years ago was, aging is not for sissies. And I'm finding out, yeah, that's true in many, many ways that I had no idea about. And I'm so glad to be here. So questions for you. What have been some of your fears as you've gotten older, and how have you addressed those or handled those? And fears and maybe challenges, what are some of the biggest challenges you've had, and how have those unfolded? And I have another one I really want to ask, but I'll let somebody else do something else first.
Let's do one at a time.
Yeah.
Anybody want to start?
Fears and challenges.
My fear is dying. I don't want to die, so I'm not going to. I want to keep living as long as I can live. I want to live a full, grateful life, and we're going somewhere along the line. I think Jim was the one that said, can I tell him what you said? We talked about this just shortly, and he had something that really stuck with me. He said, yes, you didn't. I'm going to do it anyway. It was happy, healthy, happy, healthy, happy, healthy, dead. And I think that's perfect. I want to be happy, healthy, and then I'll just be dead one morning.
I think one of my fears, I've had some major health issues. I've had 3 back surgeries, and those things have been difficult. And I think as you become an elder, there are more of those things. And so I face those challenges. I face that, I'm not jumping huge fences anymore. Okay, that's fine. They're lower, but I'm still doing what my passion is, what I really, really enjoy. And I just have to look at those health challenges as something that I will go through, but I'm going to overcome them because I have the passions that I follow through.
Yeah, I don't have anything to add to that. That's good.
What does saging mean to each of you? Saging.
Saging.
I'll start that one because we have a saging group that we do every Tuesday, and it's amazing. And what we're learning from that, and what I've been learning for a long time, is that it's about letting go of the ego as a huge, huge part of saging. Learning that there's still a lot to learn, that we don't have all the answers, the beginner's mind, if you want to call it that. So starting from I don't know and working your way forward, to me, is what saging's about, along with applying the experience you've had so that you can draw the meaning out of it. And meaning is what leads to fulfillment in life, and that's what saging is about.
I'm a good talker. I think just keeping our passion alive and saging as an elder, you know, somewhere along the line, the elders got disrespected. They used to be very well respected, and somewhere along the line, our culture is very oriented to youth. And when I was a youth man, I didn't want to mix with those elders. But I think just keeping a sense of fun about life, you know, it's just, you got to have fun no matter what happens. And also, as you sage, age, whichever way, I don't know which word we want to use, but those things that you thought were coincidences before, all these little things happen differently to you. They're not coincidences, they're something very special. And I think sharing that, Claire mentioned that I volunteer a lot. I love volunteering with the kids because they have so much fresh energy. And it's just so great to be around them. So I think there's a lot to be said for growing old, as that song said.
We have one back here in the peanut gallery. What role does community play in your saging process? What is community as important, more important? How does it play into saging beautifully?
Okay. Yeah, so I think that especially when you're in your senior years, community is such a critical part of it. I was actually reading an article in AARP, and it talks about how many people are living solo at an elderly age. And what keeps them going? Number one, surprisingly, it's community. It's having a connection to other people. That's the first thing that they talk about. They want to have, and especially if they're incapacitated and they don't have family, friends are critical and community is critical. And for me, just coming here in this community, that has changed my life because they're not just friends, they're enduring friends. They're friends that you stay with. And I've had some friends since I was a teenager that I still stay connected to. And even if a lot of our people go far away, I tell them the same thing. I got this from Jonathan Bach in Illusions. When it comes to friends, there's no such place as far away. And that's what community means to me. Jonathan? Richard, thank you. Richard Bach. Jonathan's a seagull, that's right. Wow.
I started at Seattle Unity, and I was in a sort of a real troubled spot. And I went, the first time I sat in the back row, and they is a rather large sanctuary. I sat in the back row, and I sobbed. And I sobbed for 6 weeks because I knew I'd found my home. I had found my community. Everybody was like folks here. There was love. There was instant love and acceptance. And it changed my entire life. So community is everything to me because these people at Seattle Unity raised me up just like these folks here raise me up every time I come, and I thank you, and I'm so grateful for you.
Yeah, I think as we age, community becomes more and more important, and I would have to say it's one of the most important things. I can't think of just living alone. And not being in contact with people. So I do travel a lot. When I travel, I always take this little harmonium with me. I reach out to a yoga class, I play for the class, and I've got instant community in that, wherever that location is. And you build community, you know, you build it as you go, and it's a wonderful gift to receive, and it's what you can give to that community as well. It's really an important, we have a beautiful community here. We're very fortunate.
All right, we got Nico's got an online one or question.
My own question.
You got your own question, okay.
I would love to know what you've learned from and about grief in your lives. Sorry.
It's not as much fun as you'd think. But, you know, it is something that, for me at least, losing my father is probably it was the first real close family member that I lost. And I was with him for the week before he left. And the night before he passed, he was not able to speak much, but I sat with him all night, and at 5 o'clock in the morning, I could hear him trying to say something, and I got my ear right down next to him. And I said, "What is it, Dad?" And he said, "Look over there in the corner." I said, "What?" He says, "It's Grandma and Grandpa." And I said, "I don't see them." And he says, "Well, open your eyes." I mean, yeah, and I have to tell you, that night, I had sat up all night, so I went back to the hotel room, and I just cried almost the whole day, thinking how much I was going to miss him. He was such a big part of my life. And so getting past grief, one of the things that I learned is that you need to get out and start moving, and you need to be of help to somebody else. And to me, that's the quickest way to get past grief.
That's a tough one, Nico. 16 months ago, I lost my oldest son from my first marriage. He was found drowned in a river in Dublin, Ireland. And it's been a journey of grief. I've done things to compensate for it. I made a trip to Dublin last summer. I made a CD. I didn't realize how many friends he actually had because he lived homeless for 25 years. And, it taught me a very big lesson, and my lesson was really simple. This kid was always a problem in my life. I was always going to get him out of jail or out of court, and he ran away at 50, blah, 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 blah. He was so loved in that community. They had a year memorial for him, and I just learned the biggest lesson of my life. Who the heck am I to judge anybody? Who am I to judge? And it doesn't take the grief away. I still feel grief. I mean, I do. But it's part of life. It's just part of the life process. If you're going to love, you're exposed to grief. So.
Hang on. I'm sorry. I'm trying to remember. I think Joanne had her up, and then we'll do Alistair and then Ted. Okay. Oh, sorry. I didn't push it on. There you go.
You were talking about community now, and I just want to say that to the younger people here in your 20s or 30s, community is really, really important. And I remember, when we're young, we all need friends. We all love to be around friends, and it's important who your friends are at that time. But I was divorced at around 30, and my mom introduced me to Unity, and I went to Unity Church in Austin, and that's where I met Jim, like 40 years ago. So I just want to, maybe you could speak to what your advice is to younger folks in their 20s and 30s of what they could be doing at that time in their life to really age and sage the way they would like to.
I would say find your joy and find your passion and never, ever let it get out of your sight.
Well, I think that Unity is a pretty good example of what could be a way to move forward. And it doesn't have to be Unity. any spiritual path for that matter. In fact, there's a huge spiritual path called spiritual but not religious. And unity is about as close as I could find to that. I wish that I'd been in the Youth of Unity class when I was a teenager. I saw so many transformations of very sullen, dark-mooded kids coming in who had been bullied and so on. And after coming together in a teen group and bonding over a week's time with all the lessons that Unity, there was so much love. And they parted as lifelong friends. And to me, that spiritual path is probably the most important thing in my life now. I wish I'd found it sooner. And Unity certainly has a lot of wonderful teachings, positive prayer, positive thinking, recognizing that everything that happens to you is not happening to you, it's happening for you, for your growth and for your opportunities to learn and transform your own self. So a spiritual path.
I think one of the keys is don't be afraid to fail. Just don't be afraid to live, because life will dish you out failures, it'll dish you out pain, but it gives you joy too. So, and having people to share that with. I mean, I share in a band with Anastasia, and it's one of the greatest joys of my life when we play together. We've got 100 people up singing Sri Ram Jai Ram, whatever it was, doesn't matter. But it's such a joy to be with other people, sharing your voice or a meal or all those things. So I think you're doing yourself such a disservice if you isolate yourself. It's too easy to isolate yourself. So that's my advice to my kids.
I just want to add one thing to that, the word failure. It's really, in a way, bogus, because everything that you think you failed at leads to the possibility of change and growth, and that experience is always going to be what brings us to where we are. So it wasn't wrong, it wasn't a failure. And we talk about mistakes, but they are what brought us to where we are and who we are. So, yeah.
All right, Alistair, go ahead.
Is there anything you feel that you have yet to do?
Wow, yes. But it's not the family, don't worry, Joanne. Seriously, there's so many more vistas that I want to ride my motorcycle on. There's so many, I haven't climbed all the mountains in Central Oregon, but most of them, and I still want to get the ones that I haven't. It's just such a joy. I mean, to be on top of a mountain and to be looking out over and just, it's top of the world, Ma. You know what that, have you heard that? Wow, it's just such a feeling of exhilaration. And I want to continue writing. I want to write another book, and Joanne's my editor, and she's still working on it, but it's done if she gets done. No pressure, yeah. Anyway, so many things. I mean, that's just the start. The best is yet to come. I want to experience it.
Yeah, the line in John Denver's song, so many things I've yet to do or I love to do, and I don't plan to stop. I mean, something might stop me. I'm fortunate to be married to the same woman for 35 years. What's up with my craziness? And there's no reason, health may take us out one day, we'll see, but right now I can move, I'm good, and we're headed to El Salvador to go surfing this winter, so I don't know. Let's do it. And I'll tell you, at 60 years old, she's a great surfer.
All right, I think we just have time for one more.
One more.
I'm going to have Ted, let me make sure I got it on for you. Let me see. Yep, it's on.
Well, I just wanted to ask how your spiritual outlook, the problem with aging, as we all know, is health problems crop up. So how does your spirituality help with that, with those things that do crop up?
Wow, that's such an important question. And for me, I've suffered a number of knee issues. I've suffered back issues. I've suffered neck issues. I got a shoulder issue. And almost every one of them has been dealt with by following my inner wisdom, my spiritual guide, and what I call body wisdom. But spirituality was number one. I did a lot of what Myrtle Fillmore did, sending love and light and blessings to all the cells, every part of my body. And it works. It absolutely works. Every one of those issues is gone with the exception of a little bit of the shoulder issue, and they're giving me these bands for it. And one of my, who knows how Spirit's going to work to make that happen. My sciatica problem I had for 2 years. I went through PT. I went through shots. And how did I solve it? I said, I'm turning it over to you, Spirit. And my son invited me one day to start playing disc golf. And after 2 or 3 sessions, the sciatica went away and it never came back again. Thank you, Father. Thank you, Mother. Thank you, God.
Yeah, I've had, like I mentioned, a number of health issues, and I'm so active. There's so many things I'm involved in, and I just go, I don't have time for this. I don't have time to be sick. I don't have time to be in bed. But I will slow myself down. I would slow my mind down and know till I get through whatever that illness is, and I just keep the Spirit within me alive, and I know that when all the pain is gone or all the trouble is gone, that I'm going to be back to Charlotte, and I'm going to be back doing the things I love to do.
I think in that tradition we were singing the kirtan in that Sanskrit Vedic tradition, there's a word called sadhana, and it's your practice. And what is your practice? And I think for me, as I've aged, my practice starts very early in the morning, usually 3:30 or 4. Don't ask me what time I go to bed, it's kiddie hour. But I think it really goes a long way to keeping mind, body, and spirit healthy, depending on what your sadhana is. And it's so important to have something you latch onto. I do a little workout every day, and the other option is to compare notes about how oh God darn, my back's, what's the matter with you today? And I don't want to do that. Let's talk about the positive side. So.
Well, thank you all for all those wonderful questions. We sure appreciate it, and we appreciate the opportunity to share a little bit that we've been able to share. We've still got enough to go another day or two, but we'll hold that.
And please join us after the service for the Q&A, and if you have more questions, we'd love to hear them and answer them for you. Thank you.
Or things to share, yeah.
Yeah, we were rehearsing because we didn't know if we'd get any questions, so we had them to ask each other. But we just want to thank everybody for participating. It's good for us to get together and share like this, so thank you.